bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
It is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, Double T, SportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff in for Choice, sitting alongside Coach Hilliard and Lucas and Logan across the way. Slide and slides, pushing buttons for us on the board, program, and accessories over there. They're the first voice you hear on the Visual Edge IT hotline, 806-771-0973. Gentlemen, we are not quite at Texas Tech's unofficial start for the football season. That's next week at Big 12 Media Days. However, I think I have maybe one and a half of the three, but three questions that will make you think about Texas Tech football. Okay. Or one of them is just at least thinking about Texas Tech football and your answer. But we are going to start with question number one. There is one game on the schedule that you have to go to. That doesn't mean you can't go to others. That doesn't mean that you are going to this one. But if you only can go to one game this season, and you are handed a blank ticket that says, fill in opponent, date, time, and everything else here, which game are you picking on the schedule? I think there's a couple of good answers for this. I will give you mine after I hear everybody else's.
Is this based on like the place that we would want to go, or is it purely just the game itself?
Game you want to see. If you want to see the Colorado game because it means you get to spend a weekend in Boulder, that's on you. There's no judging coming from me on your pick. However you determine which game you want to see live and in person the most is up to you.
I would probably go Oregon State. I've never been to Oregon, so I've been California, I've been Wyoming, but I haven't been up in the upper northwest of the U.S. So I would pick the Oregon State game just purely because that's where I would want to be able to go, and I haven't been there, and you're not going to get very many opportunities to do that. So I would go with that one.
All right, double L's, who's going first?
I would go to the Oklahoma State game.
Oklahoma State game.
I'm really interested in that team. It's like a whole new team. I've written about it in a couple articles about like their quarterback and running back, and so I'm really interested to see how they play.
All right.
Taking out my bias on West Virginia.
Good answer.
That'd be my one. I'm going to go with Arizona State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why Arizona State?
It's a home game. Obviously, it's the team that they lost to last year. I know that Tech's going to want to get their revenge, their payback here in Lubbock, so I think it'll be a good game. And it's in the middle of October, so it's not too hot, not too cold, especially for me.
Yeah.
Just right. I'm all about it.
Weather can play a factor in your picks. There were no wrong answers for this question. If I were to pick just one game on the schedule that I got a guaranteed seat to, there is part of me that wants it to be Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I want to go be that fan. However, I'm really not that guy. I realize my shortcomings in this. I'm also kind of as upset as they are, not at us for having him, but for everything that's happened afterwards. So I kind of get why they're upset. However, I kind of want that fan to pick that game, so that's where that goes. But if there's one game on the schedule that I would need to be at, it would be November 26th. And I know it's Thanksgiving. I wish it wasn't. Against TCU. It is at home. Is the Big 12 championship seed going to be locked up? I hope so. If it's not, and you lose to TCU to knock you out of the Big 12 championship game because your fans didn't show up, No, sir. No, sir. That will be the heavens falling down on us. No, I don't want that to happen. No, I will need to be there in person, being loud and proud, being a Red Raider fan in the audience.
But I'll tell you, if it is in doubt, and we need to win that to win the Big 12, our fans will be there. It'll be a packed house, even on a Thanksgiving. Though traditionally, we don't have our student body, is coming from the Metroplex, so many of them and all that. People will make arrangements. People will be there. I have my tickets for that game. That's the one I have. I know.
And that's not a knock on the out of town fans. That's not.
Yeah.
I hate that this game is on Thanksgiving Day. I would hate this if this was the Friday after Thanksgiving, because I know how bad attendance is that week. The whole reason the Baylor Tech game was always the week of Thanksgiving, and it was always a Saturday, and it was always in Arlington, was because that's where the fans were.
Right.
And it made it easier for everybody. And when you flipped it back and you get the home game for Thanksgiving, you get there, and it's a ghost town, no matter which stadium you were at, because the students aren't there, the fan base isn't there. Fan base is traveling too. They're allowed to go see their family that don't live in Lubbock. I hate that you are competing on Thanksgiving Day. However, that's the one I'm circling. We're making sure we beat the Horned Frogs on Thanksgiving Day at home, and we need fans to help do that. So that's why I'm picking that game.
It'll be a packed game.
If there was, second question, gentlemen, looking at your schedule, you can flip the date of two games. In other words, they replace each other. You cannot change a home and away. You cannot change the day of the week. So if the Thanksgiving game stays Thanksgiving, you are literally just changing the opponent and location if it's a road home game situation. Which one are you picking?
If I'm flipping two teams on the schedule, I'm going to flip the Houston and Oklahoma State.
You want Houston November 14th?
I want Houston later.
Okay.
With a healthy Will Hammond, who has more snaps than maybe he's got.
We hope a healthy Will Hammond.
Right.
Because he's allowed to get hurt in week 5.
And that's fine. I'll take my chances on there. And I want Oklahoma State early when they're still trying to figure things out with a new coach. I don't want them late when they might be dangerous. So, yeah, I would flip those two, and I think would be the best of both worlds on that.
Logan. Or Lucas, whichever one's ready.
I would flip Baylor and Cincinnati.
Baylor and Cincinnati. Any big reason why?
Not
Okay.
off the top of my head, but I think the more build up maybe to the Cincinnati, the longer it's anticipated, can make it a little more fun.
Logan.
I think I kind of agree with Trent. I think I'd want to move Oklahoma State to like the Houston game, swap those two.
Okay.
For the same reason.
No, that's a perfectly good answer. I am picking the Baylor and TCU games for completely selfish reasons. If we flip those two games, then we're not doing Optimum Game Day Live starting at 7 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day from the stadium. We are doing Optimum Game Day Live from the studio and wrapping things up, and then I can watch the Cowboy game before the Texas Tech football game, and then dealing with the at Baylor for the Thanksgiving game and having TCU as the week before.
Yeah.
That's how. Completely selfish. Completely understand that that's how. I might be the only one thinking that way. There might be other people thinking the same way I am, as getting that game, the home game, off of Thanksgiving. That's a big push as well to be able to make this change. But that way, then I could still have Thanksgiving tradition of making the turkey during the Cowboy game and enjoying it, and then watch the Tech game. That is what I will be doing as opposed to working on Thanksgiving. And the third question that I'm asking you guys today with regards to Texas Tech football. Texas Tech's season will be determined by which game? Which is the game on the schedule that you look at and go, that's the one, if we win, we're running the table. We lose that one, we're not as good as we think we are. Where's your high water mark for the football team?
I would go with the Arizona game on Halloween.
Okay. You guys are agreeing? I'm seeing 2 nodding heads in there.
There we go.
Trick question, guys. The answer to this question is the Big 12 championship game, and if you don't win that one, you're not having a successful season. But that's just me. We'll get your answers to those questions off the Yates Flooring Center Chatline. Coming up, it's the bottom line on 100.7 The Score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the bottom line on 100.7 The Score, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff sitting in for Choice on a Monday, sitting alongside Jamie Lent now across the way. We have the 2 L's, Lucas and Logan. We need to figure out a nickname for Logan, Jamie, that doesn't start with L. And I say that I'm not good at the nicknames. I'm good at vetoing nicknames that aren't appropriate or shouldn't be used because they don't actually fit. Or they're way too insulting for the interns. But Logan and Lucas in there at the same time really, snaps the rubber band in my head.
Okay.
Because I'm like, well, that's Logan, and that's not Logan. Or it's Lucas, and then that's not Lucas, and I have to remember, it's not that I don't know which one they are. Because that would be insulting to both of them, since I work with both of them on a daily basis. And I was there when Lucas White got married, so I remember him specifically, unlike some people who work in the building. But we got to figure something else out there. So the people that you talk with, you need to have a conversation with them and have an appropriate nickname for Logan, I think.
Okay.
I don't think it's fair to have Lucas have a new nickname.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around a while.
Okay. I think it should be, his nickname should be, I just wear it because I think it looks cool.
It's a bit wordy.
He wears hats of teams that he does not support. He just wears them because he thinks they look cool.
You're going to hate when I tell you I have 2 Yankees hats.
Well,
They look cool.
They look cool, and I don't like the Yankees.
You do you. You do you.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine. Excuse me.
Do you have who is your favorite team in any sport? Who is your favorite team?
The Cowboys.
Cowboys. So would you wear an Eagles or Commanders hat?
No.
No. Okay.
So he has standards.
Okay. Who's your favorite baseball team?
Phillies.
The Phillies. Okay, so they really don't have a connection to the Yankees. They're not rivals in any way, shape, or
Would you wear a Met hat?
No, I think I have one.
Yeah. All right, well, that's just, to each their own.
Kids these days. They don't go trick-or-treating and they wear strange hats. Things we have to figure out. Major League Baseball has gotten a little bit interesting after this past weekend, Jamie, with the Rangers sitting atop the AL West, the Astros a game and a half behind them. Well, nobody in the West is just running away with the division, except for the Angels running away from the division the other way. It's fun to have your team back on top of the division or fighting to be back. It looked like at the beginning of the year that the Astros weren't ever going to win a game. And I think the stat that Brendan was bringing to SportsCenter is 7 of their last 9 series wins, or 7 in a row on series wins. And if you can play that kind of baseball, you're going to make up a lot of ground very quickly on a lot of teams, is what the Astros have been doing. And obviously sweeping a 4-game set over the weekend really helps you propel yourself forward when the Mariners were taking on the Guardians, who are a pretty good baseball team. So you had an opportunity to take advantage of it, and you did. That's nice to see from some teams in the AL West having a little bit of a pulse.
Yeah, low-scoring games, close games, and you found a way to win them all. So, you're going to win some of those, you're going to lose some of those, and you expect that. But it was nice to see the Rangers come out on top on all these. We've seen them, come up short on a bunch of low-scoring games this year where the pitching was great, but the offense wasn't great. But this weekend, you got just enough of both.
Trade deadline is coming up after the All-Star game, and, buyers and sellers gets asked a lot. I don't think anybody in the West needs to be a buyer. I don't know that you're in the position in the West to be pushing for a World Series title. You might be able to make the playoffs. You might win the division, and those are nice things to have. But for where your roster is, and I think this is true for both the Astros, Angels, and Rangers, where your roster is, you can do more damage to your team trying to win it this year than you can trying to benefit your team going forward in the offseason, when you're not having to get rid of some of your high-end talent or your young talent that you're trying to build the future with, and you can just go sign somebody and attack it that way. And then maybe you're not looking to be needing the one piece because you took care of that one piece in the offseason. I think you do more harm than good for your organization if you're in the AL West right now.
I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a Rangers fan. And I've kind of gone back and forth on this. But I will say this. If I'm a Rangers fan and my team at the trade deadline is a game up, a game back, is tied, you can probably push that to 3 either way. And my team is not trying to improve at the deadline, I'm like, what are we doing here? Okay? There's no victory for, hey, we didn't win, but we didn't have a high payroll either. Okay? It doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter. They're, the Twins or the whoever, the lowest payroll, the Marlins, at the end of the year, what they get is, that's not bringing in fans. That's not making people interested in them. That's not making free agents in the future want to go there. Try to win. I get if you're the worst team in baseball, you're not going to make moves. But also you have to be smart, so you're not giving away your prized prospect for some guy that's going to be there for 2 months. I get it. But I expect, I know it's a little bit different, okay? A little bit different, but I don't think it should be. To act like the Rangers are some small market team and they struggle with finances is just not true, okay? I expect my team every year to try to win. Every single year. I don't ever want the number 1 draft pick. I don't ever want a top 5 pick, ever. I want to win. And if the Rangers are within 3 games of the division lead at the deadline, let's try to win this thing. I don't want to lose but with a cheap roster. I don't think that makes any sense to me. Go win.
I would just like to state that the cost of the roster wasn't where I was looking. It was more of not losing the
again,
assets.
you make smart decisions with trades, but sign free agents, whatever, get better.
And the fact that the Rangers act like a small market team does also bother me. Arlington, Dallas, Fort Worth, everywhere there, not a small market. It's bottom line, 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Bottom line rolling on halfway through the program on 100.7 The Score, DoubleTeamSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff and for choice, sitting alongside Jamie Lent and the 2 L's across the way, sliding slides, pushing buttons for us on the program. Without any further ado, it is time for Jamie's question of the day.
Time now for Jamie's question of the day on 100.7 The Score. Brought to you by someone not named Jamie and presented by Connecticut of West Texas. Life's hard, your water shouldn't be.
Alrighty, guys, gonna shift gears here just a little bit. We're a little over halfway mark of the Major League Baseball season. We spent some time on Friday talking on the morning drive, talking about where numbers are sitting and where they could be going forward. On Friday afternoon, we talked about some tight divisions and we talked about some teams in general. But what I'm asking you right now is to pull up the Major League Baseball standings. And with the teams that are currently in the lead, how many and which ones will actually win their division? I think it's safe to say that all of us are thinking the Dodgers are going to win the NL West. So I'm going to give you the one and help everybody thinking a little bit. I'm not asking about your wild card spots. This is just your division winners.
I'm going to say 3 of the 6 will remain the same. All 3 coming from the National League.
Okay. I imagine that has a lot to do with the fact that Tampa and New York flipped over the weekend.
Oh, that's only one of the 3.
Right, but
that's not a lot. That's just one of the 3.
When we went into the weekend, the Yankees were ahead, and had that been the case, I imagine you would be picking the Yankees to win that division.
That's one of the divisions, yes. Yes, I think Seattle's the most talented team in the West. I think Cleveland's the most talented team in the Central. So I think those 3 teams will end up on top.
Okay.
I think the 3 in the National League will not change.
Guys in the booth, do we have a collective answer or we have separate answers?
I think we have separate.
Okay.
Outside of the Dodgers, I'm going to say 1. I think the Braves are going to choke like they typically do. So they're going to fall probably to 2nd or 3rd. But I think the Brewers...
2nd or 3rd. Okay.
I think the Brewers can hold on and win the NL Central.
Okay. And the American League?
It'll all change.
All change.
Yeah.
Okay. How much of your fan base chimes in on that?
Well,
on the Braves falling to 3rd.
Looking at the Mets,
well, if he's
35
picking the
and
Mets,
49.
if he's picking the Mets or Orioles to come back and win, he's really going out on a limb.
I think outside the Dodgers, Brewers hold, the Braves choke. I think the Rangers hold. I think the Rangers stay at the number 1 in their division.
And the Central and the East.
You
think they're not? You think those are flipping?
Okay. Flip.
I am looking at the AL West as almost a who wants to win it division at the end, or who's trying not to lose it might be a better way to describe it. So it would not shock me at all that the Rangers won the division because nobody else wanted to win the division. I don't know that they're my pick to win the division. Chuck Hines also said that the Astros season was over. So now they've obviously won their last 5 series and are screaming up and
they're getting healthier.
The leaderboard. They're getting healthier, and Christian Javier coming back off the IL here pretty quick will just add more momentum to that. So having the Astros jump up and win that division would not shock me at all. I, like you guys, do think that Cleveland is the better team in the AL Central. I don't think that the White Sox are fool's gold when it comes to how well they're playing. I don't think it's a mistake. I think they've had some young guys come up and really perform well, and they made the huge offseason move to bring in your first baseman. Davis Martin still continuing to pitch well, even on Saturday when he didn't get the 6 innings, but still didn't give up a run. I'm not entirely sure why they pulled him on Saturday when they did, but you're getting good pitching and good hitting, not like what you're getting from the Yankees or from the Rays or anybody along those lines. But it's a good team, not a great team, but they're not just they're like one step above a good team. I don't know that they're a very good team, but they're a very solid baseball team, and somebody that if you're playing a bunch of teams like they are in the AL Central, that they get an opportunity to play some bad teams too. So that helps. I also think the Yankees are going to win that division in the AL East, although it wouldn't shock me if the Rays ended up on top at the end either. I would pick the Yankees. Wouldn't be shocked with the Rays. For the National League, I think the only change there for me is the Cubs. I think the Brewers are a good team. I think the Cubs are looking at something. And I think the Cubs are going to be the big movers at the trade deadline.
They're looking at the Brewers above them.
They are.
That's what they're looking at.
But I think it's that they're seeing a good team, and they're also, and this matters, when your crosstown rival is having some success and starting to get some news, especially when they're basically the little brother And as a White Sox fan, I'm okay with them saying, with that being said, that the White Sox are the little brother of the Cubs. That makes ownership pay attention. When fans start going to White Sox games instead of Cubs games, that gets noticed. And making a big splash will keep the fans on the north side and keep them going. And winning the division would obviously help that. If anybody other than the Dodgers wins the West, I'll be shocked, and not just because it's the Dodgers and everything they spent, but a 10-game lead is huge at this point in the year. Absolutely shocked if the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers could take a month off and still have a lead in the NL West, but that's neither here nor there. So
I think the Rangers beat out the Astros for a wild card spot. But I think you're going to have the Rays, the White Sox, and the Rangers be the wild card teams.
That would be nice. And I say that it being nice that you're splitting the wild card teams across the 3 divisions instead of one division just getting one team in. I know it can happen. I totally get how. I'm a fan of the wild card. I was a fan of when they initially put in the wild card, because you'd see the Giants and the Braves, winning 105, 106 games, whatever it was, both of them, and only one of them making the playoffs at that point, because it was the NL and AL West and East that the 2 best teams were in the same division.
Yeah, here's a bold statement for you. All 6 wild card teams will come from 6 different divisions. Phillies, Cubs, Padres in the National League. Rays, White Sox, Rangers in the American League.
Yeah. That would be bold. I don't know who would be in contention. I mean, do I think the Twins are going to jump up and beat either Cleveland or Chicago in the Central?
I think the Astros would definitely be. I think they would be the best team that really got left out. At least on the American League
think
side.
the AL West could have something. You've got
maybe
4
Miami
teams
on the
within 2
National League
games.
side.
Yeah, you got 4 teams within 2 games in the West. Where's the standings for the wild card? Let me pull that up. It'll take like 4 seconds here. I'm just going to click on the next side of the link. Let's see. For the wild card, with the 3 wild card spots, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 teams are within 5 games. Do you know who the 5th team in that is the bottom of that is? The Boston Red Sox, who are at the bottom of their division in the AL East. Or are they still in the bottom after their weekend?
Yep.
Okay. I wasn't trying to bring up, I didn't know if they'd moved up 1 slot or not.
Behind Lucas's Orioles.
Well, geez, Lucas, what are you doing there, man? Should get over there and start cheering for your team a little bit better. God.
We're not last. We're not last.
No, you are. By a game and a half.
No, he's not. They're ahead of the Red Sox.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry. Not last. That's your cheer. Listen, I've had bad baseball teams. That was never my cheer. Okay. It's the bottom line. 100.7 the score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Yes, the bottom line. 1 final hour of the program before we send you over to ESPN Radio and the guys over on Tech Talk on Double T 97.3. Astros and Twins coming up at 6:40 tonight. Rangers and Guardians over on Double T 97.3 at 5:30, so a short edition of Tech Talk. Jeff McGuire filling in for Choice Woodman today, sitting alongside Jamie Lent. Lucas and Logan across the way, sliding slides, pushing buttons for us on the program. They're the first voice you hear on the Visual Edge IT hotline, 806-771-0973. You can also give us your thoughts and conversations off the Yates Flooring Center chat line at doubletsportsnetwork.com or on the mobile app where you can get it from wherever your apps are downloadable from. And it's free because we don't want to charge you because that would be rude. I am not a dad, Jamie. And I know this because for every person that could have been a possibility with, they would have found me by now if I was. So I am not one, which means I don't do the dad jokes. very often, at least on air. I don't feel like it's right. However, I am a big fan of a top 10 list.
Okay.
And I think I've got one today that is very appropriate for everybody here in the city of Lubbock. And I wonder how many of these that Jamie has been to. I know for sure you've been to a few of them. And I wonder how many of the guys in there would be interested in and what the listening audience may be interested in doing. Top 10 things to do in the city of Lubbock. I know, Logan, you've got this look like there's things to do here. There is. And Jamie's going to tell you about some of them. These are not in any specific order, by the way. I didn't get these numerically ranked, but they are 10 things that you can do in the city of Lubbock. The first thing that we're going to mention on the list is coming up very quickly. I have been to it many times. I know Jamie's been to it at least once. The entire 4th on Broadway celebration. It is fantastic. It is free. It has concerts. It's got booths. It's got shopping stuff. It's got the fireworks. It's got the cookout. It's got the park. It's got the parade. And it doesn't cost you a dime. Now, I mentioned it first on this top 10 list that you would be counting 10 to 1 on because it only happens once a year. But for a very long time, I don't know that if it's still that way, but the 4th on Broadway celebration was the largest free event in the country. You can just walk up and participate in any of it. And they do a really good job.
Except the shopping part.
Well, there are people who like booths to buy stuff at.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't do it for free.
Well, no, but
if you're going to take something home,
you can go walk and see the booths.
Yeah, you can't just
you can window
hey,
shop
I
for
want
free.
this.
The next one coming up on this list is the Legacy Play Village. Have you and your daughters been out there, or was it a little too young for you?
Is this the new one?
Yes. Oh, out over off of Marshall Sharp?
Yeah, we were at the old one when my kids were younger. I think that if me and my daughters were out there, we would look a little bit out of
weird
place.
now. Sure. But you know what? I'm for looking weird, so I'm not going to judge people if you're out there having a good time at the Play Village. Now, it's 93 degrees right now. That's what my computer says. So I don't know that today would be the ideal day to do that. However, for something to do...
Yeah, it looks great.
This one I know for sure you have been to probably many times and could probably guide us through it. Caprock Canyon State Park.
Yes.
Favorite part of it other than the hiking?
It's not in Lubbock.
Well, it's just outside of Lubbock. It's
2 hours away.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Okay.
For this conversation, it's close enough.
Okay.
It's an adventure. It's something to do while you live here.
My favorite part besides the hiking?
Yes. It can be part of the hike, but not like just going hiking there.
The being outdoors and away from the masses.
I surprised him with this list, so we're going to accept that as an answer.
I'm not sure why else you go there unless you're hiking.
Okay. It is pretty hiking, though. Next one up on this list, pretty much anything going on at Buffalo Springs Lake, including the 4th of July festivities. Not part of 4th on Broadway, but there's a lot of camping there. There's hiking there. There's obviously Buffalo Springs Lake, which is fishing. All of that. Really cool place to go. And it's usually, it feels like anyway when I've been there on a hot day that the canyon is cooler than it was outside of the canyon.
Okay.
It felt 5 or 6 degrees cooler, which doesn't sound like a lot except when it's really hot, if that makes any sense. And it might just be in my head that way, but it's in my head that way, and I'm accepting that during the summer.
Okay.
The American Wind Power Center. I have been there several times. It's the Windmill Museum over off of Broadway. Broadway? Hang on. It's right over here. You can't miss it. It is, if you are at all interested in history, if you're at all interested in how this area blossomed, really. I mean, they've got a train yard section in there because a lot of this wouldn't be here without trains. And you wouldn't have the wind farms bringing up water if it weren't for the trains. They needed the water for the steam trails. And it's super cool. I highly recommend checking it out. Every time I've been there with somebody, they're like, wow, this is cooler than you think it is. Because you see all different types of windmills and what they're for, and they're not just all grinding. Some of them are pumps. Some of them are. They've got a couple of electric ones out there that are super cool, too. Have you been out there yet?
I've been there. Yep. More than once.
This one I have not been to. I think I've been to part of it. The Museum of Texas Tech University features anthropology, paleontology, and Western art exhibits, plus the Moody Planetarium for summer sky shows. I'm a sucker for a planetarium. Like that's just one, it's an air-conditioned building. And in Texas, an air-conditioned building in the summer is a plus. And you get all the space stuff in it and see all the stars, and they might line all stuff up and zoom through things. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for a planetarium.
Never been there.
Next up, this is also high on my list. The Science Spectrum, just in general. I've never had a bad time at the Science Spectrum. I could go today after work and have a good time at the Science Spectrum. They've got the IMAX movies that are in there as well. Really well done stuff. I could spend all day in the kids section of the Science Spectrum and be the old guy playing with all the toys. And you know what? I don't care. They're there to be played with. And if you're anything like me, that fits. Number 2, I highly recommend going to, just not with my father, although my dad had a good time going, the Silent Wings Museum at the old Lubbock Airport, just north of Lubbock Airport. They actually have a glider that was used. Well, it wasn't used during World War II, but it's one of the ones they were training with and had boxed up ready to go. A lot of that training for the landing at Normandy for those glider pilots happened out here. So you get to see some of the stuff that was there. It's a pretty decent World War II museum as well. And having that glider really makes it special because it is actually textile that you can feel and all that kind of stuff. And the final one, which is worth at least a walkthrough, if not multiple walkthroughs. The National Ranch and Heritage Center over on Texas Tech campus. If you want to see what Lubbock looked like 100 years ago or 200 years or 150 years ago, walk through there and you will get an education on some houses and some domiciles. I can't even call all of them houses. Some of them were just dugouts.
Who made the list?
National Ranch Heritage Center?
No, who made the list?
This was an AI search.
Okay. They don't attend a Texas Tech sporting event?
There's not one right now.
Or
I would have put that on there.
Or go to Prairie Dog Town?
They've got Prairie Dog Town on here, but it's also part of the McKenzie Park, just in general experience. It's bottom line. 100.7 score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Bottom line on 100.7 The Score, TSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. It is time for Tell Me I Am Wrong. Not me this time. Jamie, you get the honor.
All right, gentlemen. I'm here to tell you today that this week, most likely Friday, the Big 12 will announce that there will be no penalty and no punishment to Texas Tech, and that there is no longer any sort of thought of a lawsuit or Texas Tech having to pay for any lawyers by the Big 12. They will do this in an attempt to end the speculation and not have to answer the questions at Big 12 Media Days next week.
There's a lot of this that I like, Jamie. There's a lot of this that makes sense. The newsed up on Friday. The getting things done before Big 12 Media Days. You attempt to change the story. Yormark is a professional, if nothing else, and knows that you don't waste moments. And having this hang over the Big 12 Media Day would be a waste of a moment for the Big 12. Man. Are Are the Big 12 people smart enough to do this? That's the question. You know what? I'm going to adopt the choosing joy and say you are not wrong. And that it will happen on Friday as described. Gentlemen.
I think you're right.
Lucas? Yeah. He's shaking his head too. That would make so much sense.
If you're going to try to go there to Big 12 Media Days and talk about, hey, we're back to being 16 strong. We're back to this being about all of us together as a group. We're all tight, close-knit family, all the above. This can't be hanging over. This has got to be put to bed.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have a case. So I think cooler heads are going to prevail with the Big 12, and they're going to realize this is, we're not going to win this. It's going to be a bad look. And so it's not what we want to do.
I would agree that they don't have a case. However, I didn't think Sorsby had one either.
Well, that's fair enough.
And there's been a couple of them that have come through that I'm like, ain't no way this is going to happen. Oh, look, it happened. There's no chance this is... Oh, wow. You can be drafted in the first round and still play college basketball after also playing professional overseas for a year. Huh. Look at that. That's new. Yeah, I'm choosing joy that this is going to happen. I won't guarantee that it's going to happen. Because I still don't know that I trust the Big 12 enough. And some of that goes back to Dan Beebe. And I know Dan Beebe isn't in charge of the conference anymore. I know. And I like Brent Yormark. I do. I think he's good for the conference as a commissioner. I think he's got a group of schools in the conference that listen to him as a commissioner as opposed to use him as a puppet when it comes to promoting the league and everything else. I think he's got some good ideas for the conference. The basketball court was not one of them, at least in the way that it played out. I thought the idea was sound, the execution not so much. But that's going to happen when you're trying things. Should it have been used in maybe some regular season games and worked out the bugs beforehand? Yes. But I don't know that the rest of the league is going to want to do that and move on. I think they like being mad at Tech.
Well, they can continue to be mad. Nobody's telling them they have to stop. It's not like a marriage.
No.
You can continue to be mad at your spouse.
But we are, I mean, it's not marriage.
It's just not going to go well for you.
More of a fraternity. This on the Yates Learning Center chat line. Will the public forgive the Big 12 for not punishing Texas Tech? I think the public is ready to move on from this as long as it's not the only story they're hearing about. It has come to its conclusion with Sorsby in the courts. He's not going in the draft. He's not going in the supplemental draft, I should say. He's not playing in the Canadian Football League. He's not playing college football. That takes care of the majority of the public. Now, if all of it gets brought back up again, I think that's a different story. That it gets refreshed and everybody gets mad again. I feel like we've gotten to the other side of the everybody is mad at Sorsby and Texas Tech, like as their only thought. Now they're also thinking about July 4th and fireworks and hot dogs and burgers and cookouts, and life does eventually move on. If it's not settled, it can come back, though. when all of it gets fired back up again. So there's where I think the public sits. Where you share the thought, disagree with me.
I think the public is ready to just talk about football and have it be about football. And so I think the public's ready to move on. Fans are still going to be, of other Big 12 schools. They're still going to take pot shots and hang up silly signs and all that kind of stuff. But that's expected.
And if they're funny, welcome. Like, I'm a fan of a good funny sign. Like, you really put some thought into something. And I know that this was the Red Raiders doing this, so I was going to like it anyway. But even if I wasn't a Red Raider fan, when Texas Tech basketball made a goalpost for the basketball game and ran it through the A&M game, that was funny. That's just comedy. And I am here to support that kind of shenanigans. The having fun with another member of your league that you build a rivalry with. That's how rivalries happen. And yeah, I'm here for that. Sign me up. They're funny. They can't just be mean. They got to be funny. I'm here for the funny.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.